GrowCFO is where finance leaders grow together. Join thousands of like-minded professionals using GrowCFO to access the combined knowledge and experience of the finance leader community. You can join us today at growcfo.net. Hello and welcome to the GrowCFO Show. I'm your host, Kevin Appleby, and today it's episode 200. 200 podcasts, gosh. So I've got a special guest with me. It's not an external guest, it's actually Dan Wells, founder of GrowCFO. Dan, welcome back to the podcast.
Hello, Kevin. Hello, everybody. It's good to be here, and what a massive achievement to get to 200 episodes. I'm super, super excited about today.
And Dan, 200 episodes, gosh, where were we 200 episodes ago? Where were we in, August 2020?
Wow, Kevin, looking back, we were in a difficult place. We were in a very much a transitional space heading into COVID, really sort of struggling with a lot of challenges. And actually, as a business, we were very much trying to work out what is the future of learning, what is it people need, both in the short, medium, and long term, to really get through this. And wow, what a journey we've had since then.
Indeed. In fact, I remember just around about when we launched that very first episode, about the same time, we'd also launched for the first time GrowCFO Premium. So we'd been doing some things before that, but that was the first time we really asked anybody for money. I remember being out Friday evening, we'd gone down to the beach, and I was queuing in the fish and chip shop. I remember looking at my phone and thinking, gosh, have we actually sold anything? And there we were. It was the first 2 or 3 people that had bought GrowCFO memberships. So, wow, 4 years. And we've got a big announcement today, Dan, because we've learned so much in those 4 years about what people want, how people learn. That's nothing to say that we've got anything wrong in the past, because we've got some great feedback on what we do at the moment. But the key thing we've learned, Dan, is about something called experiential learning. Dan, tell me, what is experiential learning? Because that's probably just baffled the audience a little bit.
Good question, Kevin. To answer that immediately, so experiential learning is very much about learning as you do stuff in training sessions. So it's about live sessions, it's about practical application, it's about cutting edge training, and very much kind of exercise-based training where you've got facilitators who are ex-finance leaders or potentially even still some form of finance leader, but also acting as a professional mentor and a coach alongside that. We're actually getting you to do real life examples of things that you're going to have to do in your role. So it's very much customized training, it's live challenges, it's presenting back what you've done, it's getting observations, getting feedback, and then instantly being able to implement that into your role.
Yeah, because in GrowCFO, when we launched Premium, we launched with a future CFO program and a competency framework. So we had lots of video on demand courses that people could go into with a membership, but they weren't that experiential learning. And we've really learned about that through running boot camps.
We have, Kevin. So it's interesting because we've always had a hybrid model of video on demand training, which is obviously beneficial in many ways, being self-serve, available anytime, etc., etc. I know that's been one of the big things in recent years. It's got a lot of people excited. But actually, what we've found is that the programs we've run, such as the Future of Finance program, the Finance Business Partnering boot camps, Finance Transformation, FP&A, they're the ones that have really had that sort of stellar feedback in terms of transformational learning outcomes. And the things that we are so focused on as a business, especially one that's designed and delivered by the sort of finance leader community, are those learning outcomes. To have those transformation learning outcomes is just so important. So you'll remember one of the early evolutions of the Future CFO program was very much to build more live experiential training within it. You take examples such as the virtual boardroom. It's a great example of actually trying to navigate the different challenges in a boardroom scenario there and then under pressure, with actors, with people playing different roles around the boardroom. Similarly, in business partnering, we've done a lot of stuff around things like financial storytelling. So, how do you really take a message that's probably well understood by finance people, but decide the best way to deliver that to your non-finance audience in a way that captures their intention, it really engages them and helps them to properly understand it. So So absolutely, Kevin. I think we've seen a huge explosion in terms of the demand for experiential learning, and that's very much linked to our big announcement today.
Dan, should we tell the audience what this big announcement's all about?
We should, Kevin. As I said, we've had great feedback on the experiential learning, the boot camps, the live programs that we've been delivering. But actually, the one thing that people have said would really differentiate us versus anybody else is to have that all packaged into one recurring affordable subscription. So very much a whole combination of different experiential learning programs, all led by finance leaders, professional mentors, coaches who've been there and done it before, all bundled into one package across the whole finance syllabus, where people can get their recurring subscription package. They can therefore get access to credits and then use those credits to book whatever boot camps they want, either as an individual or on a team basis. That is our big announcement today, a recurring bundled package where you have access to all of those different experiential learning opportunities, whether that's boot camps, whether that's simulators across the whole finance syllabus.
Wow, that is some package. So you can take a subscription and then pick and choose which bits of experiential learning you do within that according to your own wants and needs, effectively.
That's right, Kevin. And it's interesting to think about it in three different ways, because there are certainly some topics where you can say, actually, that's pretty applicable to most people. I think business partnering is a good example of that. Most people in finance at some point would benefit from learning business partnering skills to really help engage with a wider business. But actually, there's a lot of topics out there that are quite specific to individual circumstances. And we look at it in three ways. So first of all, what is the individual's role? What role are you doing? What activities on a day-to-day basis? What skills do you need to deliver that role, both now, but also, just as importantly, into the future, as your role will no doubt continue to evolve in the next few years. All the evidence points to that. We're seeing that already. So that's the first thing. What is your specific role and the requirements in terms of customized experiential learning? And the second thing is thinking about your grade, because of course everyone's at slightly different points of that journey. We talk a lot in GrowCFO about career learning pathways, very much getting from somebody who's maybe a new entrant into the finance world to then becoming a senior, a manager, then a director, executive leader, etc., etc. And where you are on that career learning pathway will have quite a big impact on the types of training that you will need to do. And then thirdly, of course, thinking about your individual objectives, because everybody will have slightly different skills and also skills gaps as well, based on your individual attributes, based upon your journey to date, the types of roles, experience that you've done, and so forth. And so everyone's got their own skills gaps, which are no doubt going to be in their learning objectives. You've probably agreed certain goals as well with your praiser or your line manager. And so it's putting those three things together. So in summary, it's your role, it's your grade, and it's also your specific goals.
Yeah. And we started off talking mainly about how do you become a great CFO? And one of the things that I've always gone into, and I run module 3 on the future CFO program, which is all about fast tracking your development. One of the first questions that I'll ask people in that module is, so what sort of CFO do you want to become? Because the skills, the competencies that you're going to need are very different depending whether you're that transformational operational CFO, you're the strategic CFO who's the right-hand person to the CEO, or you might be more of that Wall Street CFO who's always in and out of deals, mergers, acquisitions, buying, selling businesses. Now, three very different roles, all called CFO, all need different things.
They do, Kevin, and it's interesting because, again, the feedback we're getting about the experiential learning syllabus, people are just so excited about the fact that it covers all different types of roles, but also all different grades as well. There's been a big challenge, that a lot of the finance L&D representatives of both large and small businesses have been talking to us about. We've run lots of forum groups, we've had lots of individual discussions. We're talking to both the learning community, but also the finance community pretty much all day, every day. And lots of people are saying that actually the needs across different grades, the needs across different roles, whether that's FP&A, whether the more technical side, the controllership side, the M&A side, whatever it might be, there's lots of different activities, of course, in a modern day finance function, but those needs are quite different. And as we said, there's certain things that most people need, but actually there's a huge range of needs as well. That's why we're so excited about the flexibility that this package will offer.
So Dan, we've had for a while now, we've had business partnering bootcamp, we've had finance transformation bootcamp, we've had the FP&A bootcamp. Now, you're talking about a whole wider range of things. So what else can people find in this package?
Sure, there's lots of stuff, Kevin. For example, there's facilitating strategic change. There's things like the interpersonal skills, whether that's influencing, negotiating, relationships, etc. And there's a lot of stuff on the commercial side. There's a lot of stuff on technology, AI, automation, specific applications, etc., etc. So we're very much talking about a full syllabus here across all of the different areas. And as I said earlier, the role of both finance as well as individual roles, we know that is evolving very quickly. And what we have done within this package is we've tried to pull together all of the best examples of experiential learning bootcamps that we've been able to find around the world, both through our own efforts, but also feedback from the community as well. And we've combined that by trying to pull in all the best coaches and mentors who have been there and done those finance leader roles before as well. And we've put all of that together to really look at the completeness of the syllabus. We've also had to fill in some gaps, as you can imagine, but we're constantly going to be evolving the syllabus. We're really looking forward to getting lots of people on board. There's already so many people who are excited about it, and it's great to see lots of people asking for that package immediately. But it's very much about looking at what's out there, where the gaps are, what the evolution is, to make sure that we can really maintain the completeness of that finance syllabus.
So complete finance syllabus, looking after personal skills, technical skills, everything that you need in the finance function. Now, if we're qualified accountants, Dan, we all need to do this thing called continuing professional development, or CPD, or if you're in the United States, CPE. I'm guessing that if you signed up for our new subscription, you wouldn't need to go anywhere else to complete those necessary bits of continuing professional development.
That's right, Kevin. Our courses are all CPD and CPE accredited. So we get lots of questions from the community and also the learning world as well around whether that's the case, because lots of you will have professional qualifications, whether that's CPA, for example, in North America, whether that's ACA, ACCA or CIMA elsewhere. There's lots of different needs there in terms of those accreditations, in terms of doing the annual requirements to satisfy those. And absolutely, the spectrum of different courses we have here will absolutely satisfy those different needs. At the same time, it is good to have a bit of variety as well. I'm sure there's lots of people looking at things that your institute provide on the top of that, for example. But this is very much something that you can buy for the whole of your team as well as yourself, and having that comfort that it covers the syllabus, it covers their professional qualification requirements, and it is flexible to their individual needs.
So you and I, Dan, we're both members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. And I know this November there are new rules about CPD. I believe each of us, we'd need in our roles at the moment to do 20 hours. Is there going to be enough in terms of the credits you've got for these courses to get 20 hours?
There will, Kevin. So the feedback from the community has been that a couple of hours a month is what most people are really looking to dedicate towards transformational learning. So what we've done within the package is created a credit system that gives you 24 credits for the year, and that renews each year with your subscription package, so you can keep doing different courses on a year-by-year basis. But certainly the benchmarking we've done against the different institutions is more than enough to cover pretty much all the different institutes that we've looked at from a live experiential learning point of view. We do still, of course, also have a whole range of video on demand courses as well to top up any additional requirements, whether that's for specific topics, whether that's to go deeper into different areas, whether that's to refresh yourself with some of the content that was covered in the live courses. There's a huge amount there. So yes, we are confident that will absolutely meet people's needs. And I think what's interesting is that 2 hours a month, which is what it obviously averages to, that's quite a big thing. You really need to focus on that. Most people are just so busy in their roles that they recognize they need to spend a couple of hours doing training, but you need to trust those courses to have the biggest impact. So you need to dedicate that 2 hours towards something that you are really confident will have a transformational learning outcome, because what you can't do is have 2 hours every month where your tasks are building up in the background whilst you're doing training, but not actually getting the impact that you need. You need to do courses that you know are going to have instant application to your role, and therefore the 2 hours of dedication of time is going to pay back itself immediately many times over.
That for me, Dan, is the real benefit of this. And yes, we've got video on demand courses. We've got probably 150 hours worth of them. They're great if you're in a position that you've got an immediate problem. You need to go find out something about it. You can go find the course, do it, and be up to speed very quickly. But I've talked to lots of other people running membership sites, not necessarily in the professional area, that were in any area. People that run membership sites, training, giving people training in their hobby space. They all tell me the same thing, that great, people sign up for all of these online courses that they do at their own pace, but they never actually get round to doing any of the training, or they do very little of it. Now, the great thing I think about the experiential learning side is that we're going to be live in the classroom on a particular date. Sign up for it. So you've got to go make a commitment. Once you've made that commitment, you damn well turn up, don't you, by and large? So not only are you getting a learning that is at a whole different level, you're getting something that you're actually going to do.
That's right, Kevin. And there's some really interesting stats. Forbes, for example, have done a lot of analysis around the impact of having really engaged learners and what those transformational learning outcomes actually mean for a company. An interesting quote, a few stats here from Forbes. So companies with engaged learners can generate 218% higher income per employee, and also benefit from a 24% higher profit margins. It really shows you, if you can engage your learners, if you can get them really focused on the training that they're doing, instructor-led, doing live exercises, solving the challenges which are directly applicable to their roles, and then getting feedback on how they solve them through observation, through live comments, etc., Q&A, that is just instantly going to translate into so much more impact on the job.
Yeah, that you do the course, you come back to the office, you've done some practical exercises already, you've shared results with other learners, you're back there and you're applying it straight away. This isn't head knowledge. These are practical skills. You're taking people in the few hours that they're doing this through a step change in their ability. I think in a lot of cases, you're taking them through a step change in the way they think about things.
Absolutely, Kevin. We talked earlier about some of the finance specific topics that we cover. We also touched upon things like interpersonal skills, which we know actually drive 80% of overall benefits across the career. But actually, there's just so many things here, things like change management, performance management, things like managing people, personal branding, emotional skills. We teach people how to be a great coach to their team as well. Things like process optimization. Then you've got very technical skills like Python for Excel, looking at things like IPOs, private equity, business acquisitions, Power BI, etc., etc. I go on, but there's such a range of different things here. And the beauty of these courses, they are all customized for finance people. They are all delivered by people that have been there and done these roles before, but also these people facilitating the courses, this is what they do. They are professional facilitators, they're mentors, they're trained executive coaches. They know how to drive great learning outcomes. That is what they specialize in.
Yeah, it is not just driving the great learning outcomes as trainers and so on. They're mostly folk that have done the very things they're teaching in the real world in a real line job. I'm taking Ollie Deacon as an example. Ollie is a brilliant trainer, but has also been a finance director in Microsoft.
Absolutely, Kevin. I think having those role models leading the sessions just creates such a buzz around the energy, the confidence that they instill across the group. Their ability to really focus people on the problem and the outcomes is just fantastic, because they can constantly draw on live case studies, transformational results that they've seen people achieve. And because they're so focused on these topics and can really bring that passion to the group, it's obvious why those learning outcomes are so much more than on-demand training courses.
I just wish this had existed 20 odd years ago when I was doing a blend between a business partnering and an FP&A role in the chemical industry. In the days before the term FP&A had even been invented, Dan, it was so new. Literally, we were making it up as we went along in terms of what to do, how to interact with the business, how to analyze the data, what reports and graphs to produce. There's nobody telling us how to do it. This would have been just fantastic. This is exactly what I wish I'd had back in the past.
It's interesting, Kevin, because the reason I first ever set up GrowCFO was because I had hundreds of finance leaders coming to me over and over again saying, where can we go to find a place that gives us all the support, all the knowledge, all the learnings to solve our problems, and also to future-proof ourselves against that stuff that's going to come and hit us in the near future as well. And actually, what we found was so many people were trying to solve the same problems that others were telling us that they'd already spent lots of time working out how to solve. And so by getting people in groups, peer groups of other people that are doing similar roles, facing the same problems, working out solutions to them, in addition to having those live facilitators that have been there and done it before as subject matter experts and experienced finance leaders, that's just such a powerful combination. And we should remind ourselves of the importance of doing these live experiential learning programs in finance peer groups. We're talking about people, similar roles, similar companies, but actually all comparing and contrasting. And there's lots of breakout sessions in there. There's lots of peer group presentations. There's lots of Q&A collaboration. You're constantly going to be meeting people, hearing about their problems, sharing your problems, and you're going to get quick answers that are going to make much more impact than if you tried to solve these things yourself.
And that's one of those things that we've really found from the CFO program and the future CFO program, how the cohorts of people gel with each other, form relationships, and in effect, they form their own support networks way beyond the end of the program.
They do, Kevin, and it's interesting. So many people come back to us for additional programs. So many people recommend other people in their peer groups because lots of people feel lonely in their roles, especially as you get more senior, even throughout teams. Everyone's got their own challenges, whether you're in a large company, whether you're in a small company. There's lots of unique roles there where you don't necessarily have a peer group of people doing exactly the same thing as you. So I'm really excited about the peer group piece. I love the fact that this package is equally as important to everybody, regardless of their finance function role, their grade, their personal objectives. And they're the things that just really get me excited about this.
Yeah. So Dan, let me just look back. We're saying this is a brand new product. It's bought in a subscription way, the way we've always done GrowCFO Premium. So this includes everything that was in Premium before, plus all this experiential learning. Okay. So what's the next step? How do I find out more about this?
Sure. So there's two sort of use cases here. So the first one is an individual. Regardless of your grade, it's an individual who's really looking to accelerate your learning pathways. So as an individual, you can have a look on our site. We'll be sending you plenty of information on this, including there'll be links in the program notes to this podcast episode. And you will be able to click through and instantly see what it's all about, the syllabus, how the package works, the credit system, lots of testimonials from people that have done these programs before, because we've been running many of them for a number of years now. So yeah, we'll be looking at all of that. So as an individual, you can very easily click through to this package. Okay. If you're looking at it from a team perspective, again, you can have a look at all the information around the package. If you want to find out more information, you can just click through, or you can access it live through the website, and there'll be plenty of support available for you. But there are these two options. You can either buy it as an individual, or you can buy it on behalf of your team as either a finance leader or somebody in a learning and team who's looking to support a finance function.
What's it going to cost, Dan?
Well, so it will be available in different currencies. I think the most important thing here is to recognize that we are a global community. And it's a good point, actually, Kevin. We haven't really talked much about the different time zones, but we're going to make sure that this is available to everyone in the European time zone, which obviously includes the UK, of course, but also across wider EMEA and North America as well, where there's so many people in the GrowCFO community. The program itself will be available in different currencies, for example, Great British pounds, in terms of euros as well, and also in terms of USD. So I'm not going to quote every single price because that can get quite complicated in terms of the different currencies, but that will be very clear on the website.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, that reminds me. We're sitting here in episode 200, Dan. If I go right back to episode 1, we were doing a fair amount of live stuff back then. And we nearly always did that to fit in with folk who were in the middle of their lunch hour in the UK. I think one of the things that really hit home to me, gosh, we're a global business now, is where we had to shift everything from lunchtime UK to largely 4 p.m. in the afternoon so that we could take in all those folks in the US. There'd be some point in the working day in the US, and even going right across the Middle East, you'd be managing to do things sometime during their evening.
That's right, Kevin. We have a huge number of members in North America, which obviously covers the US, Canada as well. But actually, as you said, we are a global community. We have people in over 100 countries. I'm sure there's going to be a few people that say, unfortunately, it doesn't work in their individual time zones initially. But I think the message to everyone is we're going to be expanding this. And as the number of subscribers grows in each territory, we'll be looking at putting on multiple versions of the same boot camps throughout the year in different time zones, because we do recognize that there isn't one time zone that works for everybody globally. So do bear with us if the initial time zones don't work for you, but certainly we're going to be looking at the number of people that are subscribing and showing an interest in this to make sure the time zones work for you the best we possibly can.
Brilliant, brilliant. Another problem there is always thinking about Australia and New Zealand, where our day is their night and vice versa. I know at the moment we're delivering a future CFO program across there. It's early morning for us delivering it, and it's late-ish into the evening for them, but we're making it work.
Absolutely. We have a global team. We very much cater to a global audience, and we've talked in previous episodes about all the stuff we're teaching here is equally as applicable to everybody, regardless of where you're based. The facilitators have all worked in many different countries around the world, and actually the community are representative of that as well. So we'll absolutely make it work the best we can, but obviously that will be based on demand as always.
Dan, that sounds absolutely fantastic. So if you're interested, go over to the website, have a look. There's lots and lots to learn about. So I now know all about ELF and experiential learning. Gosh, ELF, experiential learning for finance. Fantastic.
That's right, Kevin. Certainly very excited. So, if anyone has any questions, we will do our best to answer all the ones that most people are asking on the website and through our various communications. But please do reach out if you have any questions, if you've got any additional ideas for what we can cover in the future as finance functions continue to evolve. Again, very happy to look at that. But rest assured, we are looking very long and hard at the learning requirements of the community, and we are super excited about this experiential learning for finance package.
Yeah. And episode 200, Dan. I wonder what we'll be talking about in episode 400.
Time will tell, Kevin. It's certainly a fast-moving world. So before we know it, I'm sure we'll be there.
Yeah. And I look back again, 4 years ago, 200 episodes ago. I would never, ever have dreamt that we'd be talking about this stuff today. We've just moved so far in such a short time, Dan. It's incredible. Thank you for being together on this journey.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Well done for getting to 200. And what a great way to talk about experiential learning for finance, what we see as the future of finance learning.
Dan, thank you for being the guest once again on the GrowCFO Show.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you all soon.